Welcome, welcome, welcome to Conversations with My Cuz. I am Shayla Shay,
And it is me, your girl Michelle with the one L.
missing our third
Yeah, you can
counterpart,
see
DJ Big
we are
Rob.
missing DJ
We're gonna be him. Buddy
Brother Love.
Love.
We don't have Brother Love in the building today.
Instead, we have a guest. This is our guest, T.I. Mika, who came in.
T.I. Mika in the building.
Combo. We just gonna kick it and have some things to say. She got some things to add. She calls herself the honest. What's your name?
Tiamika, which is true intelligence.
There you go.
There you go.
And she said she's gonna be honest on the show, so we're gonna hear all about it.
We like honesty.
Yes, I know a lot of people out barbecuing, all kind of foolishness, having a good time. So, to that, right? I think
They'll
we
watch
should
it later.
toast
They'll watch it later.
not the 4th of July, but we should toast our independence, right? Because it's always Juneteenth in my life. I don't know how
in
you
my life. Juneteenth part 2.
to it, right?
Part two.
And to you
To the toast. Yeah.
I didn't need that after yesterday. I was with my family. We had a huge barbecue. And I said to myself when I was going, I am going to have a cocktail or two, and that's it. I left there with a drink in my hand, getting in the car like,
You know it never works out like that. You can't.
Never does. I had such a good time. Family is everything.
Absolutely.
Family is
Absolutely.
everything. So I had a really good time.
But since we don't have DJ Brother Raw in the building, our DJ, we don't know. We usually talk about what's trending. He usually tells us what's trending.
Right. But I know some things. I know you know some things.
I got a couple things that's trending.
Yeah.
And I can tell you about what's trending with students.
We're going to talk about it. So the R. Kelly situation, he got 30 years.
30.
So there was a whole, everybody was, I seen a lot of people saying, oh my God, 30 years is too much, blah, blah, blah. He shouldn't have did that. He shouldn't have got that. I say he got what he got. But I say,
okay, go ahead.
I say he got what he got. Now let's go after the parents and the help, the ones that helped him. Now let's get them now.
And I think that if the trend was that when you have people who are dealing with children, if they were getting the same 30 years, that's the problem, is they're not prosecuting people who are doing those kind of crimes to those years when they should be.
They should be.
Why do you continue to have a life if that is what you're doing? What's the situation?
Agreed.
And then they should go after everybody that allowed it to happen.
Well, he's been doing it for about 30 years.
So he's been out and doing it way longer. I mean, the ramifications of some of the things that he did is going to last longer than 30 years.
Somebody's going to be affected by this longer than 30 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so, you know, he got what he got. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, he's too extreme. And then, you know, everybody, the comparisons between who got 30 and who didn't. Listen, he got what he got. And that's just kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
That unfortunate that he was doing what he was doing, that could even put him in that position. That's the
situation.
Shoot, 30 years. How many years after the peace incident? You know what I mean? He was still rocking and rolling. Come on now. Still out there urinating.
Do you think that would you listen to his music?
Actually, I listened to a song in the car on the way to the barbecue. However, I haven't been listening to it. I don't know how I feel about it. You know?
I'm not gonna I ain't gonna lie, because it came on in the car, one of my playlists that I played, and I was like, oh, it's my chick. And then, you know, you'd be like,
wait a minute.
Yeah. You start to feel away like, well, shit, anyway, I'm rocking out. Listen.
Rocking out to a couple.
The artist, unfortunately. I said, how many people do we listen to right now that we don't know that it might have been doing the same thing?
Criminals, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
we wasn't mad at the drug dealer, right? We should have been like, he's messing up our community. We're not going to support his music, but we sure did and do. So there's that.
That's true.
Well, I am mad at the drug dealer, for the record.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I like a reformed drug dealer who says, now that I made a few dollars,
I was wrong. I did some harm to the community.
I'm gonna go back in the community. I'm gonna do some good. You know, that person I could take.
Right.
Yeah, but the other thing that I saw this made up skit, but the point of it was important, which was, and I know a lot of people saw this whole skit with this mother, and the father was bringing his child some lunch from McDonald's.
Hmm.
However, she had three more kids, and so it was this. What I understand, it was a skit. I thought when I first saw it, it was real, but
Nobody knew that it was a skit until after the fact, after the uproar.
they, right, because now you don't want the smoke, right? Because now you kind of getting roasted on both ends. Like some people felt like the father would have been right. And so to paint the scenario, because I don't know if you saw it, there was a skit about this woman who was saying that her kid's father was coming over and he had this one bag with one Happy Meal that he was bringing for his kid. And she was like, I'm finna expose him
Yeah.
because I got other kids and he should, you can't just bring for one and not bring for all. So I know
Right.
you was on Facebook forever having that conversation, Shell. So tell me where you at with that
Yeah, there
whole.
was a whole lot of uproar about it because you had some people saying that as a man, he should have never walked up to the house with a food for one child and not food for the other children because that could create a negative environment for the siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Because once, um, and then you have people saying that he wasn't wrong because he's taking care of his child or whatever the case may be. When I first looked at the situation, I felt like he wasn't wrong, but I also felt like he could have handled it a little bit differently, because him walking up to the door with a Happy Meal is can create a situation. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, getting your child and going to have lunch with your kid if
Right.
that's the dynamics of your situation. Now, if the mother has a bunch of different kids, and I don't know if they all have different daddies or whatever, she has to be able to explain to her kids that this is so and so's dad, and he's gonna come and spend some time with him. Is he obligated to spend time with all of them because
No.
that's his son?
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, if you're gonna bring the food, of course that could be looked at as, oh, the other kid's gonna be sitting around looking at him eating a treat,
They're gonna beat him up. If I was
right, and then it's going to be a situation.
beat
So
up.
I get that part of it because it can cause a situation, but I don't, now we know that it was a skit, but I'm quite sure this situation happens.
It
Right.
was a
It,
skit?
Yeah,
it was a skit.
people
Huh.
like to,
I was
get
still under the
views.
impression that this actually happened, and I felt really bad because I experienced that in my own family, having an older sister from a different dad, and he was more involved in her life than my
Mhm.
dad was, and him bringing her things, as a young kid, I really didn't understand the dynamics, but growing up, I realized, my dad wasn't around and my sister was sharing her things with me. My parents would just share whatever she could, with the children that she can
Yeah,
share with.
And see, that's
And
what I say. Cut that burger into
cut
half.
it in half, bring it in the house. All right, we
right.
gonna
As a
all eat this
parent, as
burger.
a mother who's in the household and has to deal with the dynamics, you're the one that creates the environment that your
Right,
children live in. Even
Hmm.
if there are outside sources, that's having conversations with them to say,
right.
don't come here with just for yours. If that's the case, that's the day you need to take that child out and y'all go ahead and do stuff and you bring them back. But don't, because Christmas time, do you just buy a gift for your kid, right?
Right.
What if the other kids don't get? Like it's
And that was one of the things I was
still
saying,
get.
because it's food, it's a different thing. I said, what about if it's sneakers? What about if it's clothes? If he comes to the door with some Jordans for just his son, is that the same thing?
Yeah, well, that's how I got my hand-me-downs because she got new things,
Right,
she got her old things,
right.
and another man's trash is another man's treasure,
This,
you know.
yeah,
However, there are good men out there that take care of their child.
Right.
So they should not be charged for that. That's the mother's mistake. Like she has to deal with that amongst her own family and her resources. That should not be his burden. And, she should not hold him accountable for her other children.
I agree.
I'm appalled by that.
I think that
Honestly.
I think that as a man, he, like Michelle said, he could have handled it a little bit differently, being
right,
conscious of the fact that children have to deal with certain things. You
right,
don't want to create a scenario where you are making your child happy, but as a result, in that same household, you are hurting
Yes,
the other
the other
kids
children,
as a
right,
result. Like, I don't want to be the reason why a child is sad on that day because I chose to do something for my own child. That's just like going out with your friends and they all have their kids. And let's say you have like one of those play date situations, and one of the parents decides to go out and get her kids ice cream, and the rest of the parents are there like, now my kid wants ice cream.
hmm
You create in this scenario that maybe one of those parents don't have the money that day, and so now their kid has to go without when all the other kids have. So it's a lot of ways to look at the scenario, but it does take the consciousness of an adult to look at it and figure out how to create this scenario to do the things that you want to do without being hurtful to the other children that are going to be
right.
impacted by
Because
the
then you
other.
have people saying a real man would have never walked up to the door with just one meal for one child.
You don't know that man's
That's not
pocket.
true. Yeah.
And what if he didn't have money to buy everybody food in the house? You
Right, you
know,
don't know his pocket.
or right, and then what Jerome in the comments is saying, why should that child lose out from what its father had for them? I mean, I get that, but then again, that's creating an environment. The mother has to create this environment where it's like, okay, I'm having a conversation with my children to say, y'all have different dads, and whatever the case may be. It's a unfortunate situation because I think that somebody's going to feel some type of way anyway. Especially
Right.
a
It's
child, especially
hard.
a child.
'Cause what if one child has Jordans and another child has sneakers with a hole in it?
Right. Because maybe the mother couldn't afford to get it because
Right.
their father didn't
She
step up
can't
into it.
afford.
So
Right.
does
And
that child go ahead? I'm sorry, Tia,
that's
go ahead.
one of the reasons why we wear uniforms in the school system, because we don't want children to feel less than.
Right.
Because there are some parents that are able to dress their children to the tens. However, there's some children that cannot afford that and they feel away. So,
Right.
we don't want it to affect their learning abilities.
Because it will.
Right.
Right.
We want the kids to be on the same page. So we, make sure that uniforms are enforced. It's a contract. We have a contract for uniforms. You have to sign.
And Jerome is saying teach the lesson because they're gonna have the feeling again. That's all well and good. But when you're talking about the school system, they're getting the children however they come from their homes. So
Right.
so in the school, you don't have that option to be teaching each child about this lesson because they come to school and they see somebody with something better than what they have on. They're like, I want that. Now I'm gonna beat him up to get it.
Right.
And it's also different when it's not in your household.
Right.
Being in your household is a different thing, right? Because you can't have one child that may have a parent that is doing all the right things and one that's absent, and that child gets,
It's nothing.
a whole lot less. Or
So
even
that
mother in a position of having to do for the one child more than the other because one child won't have and the other will. So you don't need to buy that kid sneakers, but the mother's now giving
right.
all that attention to the child that doesn't have. So
Right.
it's a hard
It
it's
is
a hard
a
balance.
hard dynamic. It is. It's a hard balance. So does that fall on the mother?
It's her.
Considering she
her.
had these children with these different men and one steps up and the other doesn't. So now the weight of that falls on the mother. What do y'all think?
The weight of their emotional and mental health falls on the mother, to me.
Right. Because now she has to make sure that this child is okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She has to utilize her resources within
Right.
her families. His families, their her baby daddy's family members who are willing
Right.
to participate, so that the kids can get that same love from that same family from different members.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to come from that person that birthed the child all the
That's
time.
true.
It's the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a
It
child.
does take a village. It does take a village.
And
But then
honestly,
you have the angry mother who now is mad at the fathers that are not showing up. So now the children are paying for that, or the one father that's showing up for his son, he's paying for it because now the mother's mad at him because you're just gonna show up with one thing for one child and the rest of them are suffering. So it's a hard dynamic.
we need more grandmothers out there. That's what we need.
Because mama ain't having none of that. All the babies is getting McDonald's.
All right, all right, all right. You ready, girl? Because you know
Yes,
it's
we are. But hold
time.
on, we
You
ain't
know
shout
what
out the
time
chat.
it
We
is?
got to shout out the chat.
Oh,
Hey,
do that, please.
hey, Danielle. Hey, Steph. Hey, Jerome. Who you always there? You got your fingers ready. We know.
Not only that, let's shout out our handles where we're seen. We
Absolutely.
got
We
that, right? We got
got that. Go ahead. That's on
Facebook,
you.
Spotify, we got Twitch, we got Blue Rain Radio, Instagram, we got iHeartRadio, and as always on YouTube, like and share. Let's get that viewership up on our YouTube channel. So shout out to all of y'all that are here with us.
Absolutely. Well,
So,
let's make a correction here because we have a father in the chat. He said you can't say it all falls on the mother. There are fathers raising kids also. Yes, you are
oh,
absolutely right.
absolutely.
Absolutely right. And we definitely not trying to take away
My
from
brother was one. So
those
there's
single fathers out there. Shout out to the single fathers that's raising babies.
Single fathers,
the
bless
only
you.
reason why we mentioned it in that context is because it was referencing the video that they did.
Right.
But by all means, all the comments that we made belongs on the parent that's present in the
The
household.
parent that's present in the
So
house, right?
if the father is dealing with that and he got more than, one mother of his kids, then you might be dealing with a very similar dynamic. And the onus is on you to make sure that your children are whole emotionally and mentally.
Absolutely.
So there's that. But is it time? Can I say it? Can I say it? Can I
It's
say
about
it?
that
It is
time.
time for Let Me Ask My Cuz.
Let me ask my cuz. Well, you got to
I'm
help
rocking
me,
it.
cuz.
Let me ask my
Go,
cousin
go.
and
It's
my
the
best
cousins.
friend.
It's the cousins.
Both of them. Mm.
It's the cousins, y'all.
How you doing?
It's
Hey.
the cousins, y'all.
Yes, absolutely, Jay. I know I'm holding it down. Shout
Yes,
out to all the single dads.
definitely,
Yes,
definitely.
bless you, bless you.
We have a question.
Are you first?
Am I first? Okay. Ladies, do you think that once you have sex with someone, you can always have sex with them, or can that person always have sex with you?
Am I first?
Yeah,
Because
no.
the
Answer
answer is
the
no, they
question.
can't always, since you said it both ways, no, they cannot always have sex with them. However, I
Why
guess I
not?
strongly believe that I could always have sex with them. No, I don't subscribe to that channel. And this is one of those times when we needed our DJ on the show because of course he would have jumped in and been like, I
I
disagree.
disagree.
That's because for me, when I'm in a relationship, I'm in it 100%. So when it's done, it's not just done mentally and emotionally, like physically, I'm over you as well. So there's no coming back, in my opinion. I'm like done. Now, otherwise, you'd still be around, right? Like even if
Right.
that's the only thing we got left, I would still be there until that thing is going too.
Yeah, it's done.
And
It's
I'm
done.
done
It's
with
done. It's
you.
done. We're
Yeah.
not going back. I would
Yeah.
agree with you on that one. No, once we have sex doesn't mean you can always have sex. But I will say there was this one. Nah.
Okay, lead
But
us
I'm
to my
single, so
point.
I mean, if I was in a
It's time to
relationship,
be honest.
absolutely not. But go ahead, Tia.
It's time to be honest. I want to hear your honesty on it. 'Cause
I'm
that's
gonna
what I
say
want
I'm
to
a
say.
single
Make
woman
sure
right
y'all be
now.
honest.
Most for the most part, no. But like I said, there's a one that I don't know. If he was to come around, I might be like, all right. Just this once.
Saying that right, like you could look, I may with the eye, but
Just
I'm
this
just
once,
not opening
but
that can of
if
worms
I was in a
again.
relationship, absolutely not.
I'm not opening that can of worms again.
Yeah, however,
I
exactly.
agree with that. If you're in a relationship, absolutely not. However, if you guys just meet up at some point in life where you guys are both single, and it was that passionate one to where you remember it being
Yes.
everything, it's like it would be a hard no,
Yes.
Yeah, I
and a
disagree.
strong
Not
yes.
for me.
Shay said no, wouldn't
I
be
just
wouldn't be
don't.
hard.
I just don't. I don't think that's something I don't want to.
A
I'm
hard
always
no.
I'm when I'm done, I'm done.
Hmm.
Like when I'm done, I'm done.
Are you
Even
looking at it from a relationship point of view or just as
no,
somebody that
no, just
okay.
even maintenance men. Like it
Yeah.
don't matter what the
Okay.
relationship was. Like if it's done,
Yeah.
I'm good. Like I love you. It was great. It was because to
Mhm.
me, you move forward with your life. Like I'm not. I'm good. Like there's
Right.
always another thing to do, like a new
Okay.
adventure.
Right. Well, that's where
There's
you
a
and
new
I differ.
adventure.
And
Okay.
I honestly
That's
feel
me,
like
though. I
you,
mean,
right, that's you.
it's not.
Because
And let me say this before I finish. Most people I know say that that's not the case. They baby father or they baby mother, they maintain, even if it's that part of the relationship, like they still could. Most people that I have that whenever that
But it
conversation
ain't
has
that many
come up.
though, because some of them are just like never, like baby
Mhm.
fathers and shit like that. No,
If
nah.
it was a bad breakup, it
yeah.
would be
Yeah,
a
if it was a situation where we broke up bad, or even where we just kind of, I don't really like you like that anymore.
Mm,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel differently, you know. I believe in a lot of proverbs, okay? So, if you love something, set it free. If it come back, it was meant to be, you know?
Okay.
And, so I live by that. If I'm at that point in my life to where I'm available and he's available, and I'm speaking from a woman with no children,
Mm-hmm.
that's, if I'm single at that time, I would make that decision. Yes, absolutely. Yes. And I will do that until that passion runs out. Because I
Right.
cannot keep remembering him like that.
it
Married,
might be
I
whack
cannot.
after
I
that.
gotta get it out. I gotta get it out of my system. And again, it's not for everyone. Everyone does not get that special gift.
Right.
It
Yeah,
is
it's not for
an
everybody.
exception to every rule.
It'll
It
probably
is.
whack this next time. And that's the other
Well, it
thing.
gotta
Like
be
if it was
whacked then.
good,
But
I
It would
don't
have to be whacked, then
I
it would
don't
be
want to
done.
ruin
It
the
could be done.
memory.
All right, never.
whack. I want them to
I don't
prove
want
me
to ruin the
wrong.
memory. I want to
Because
be
that
like, I need
last
to
memory,
remember
and if
you.
every time it was like amazing, and then it's like, dang, and then you get it and it's whack, all right, then it's done forever then.
It is done forever.
Mhm.
But I
Oh,
just can't
That
imagine
is
that.
what.
Like the one person that I have on, see, I have one person on my mind, like right now that I'm thinking about that could happen with. I just can't imagine that being being.
Everybody send it in the chat. Who you thinking about? I'm
Ah!
putting it out there. Y'all paying attention to
it,
us.
it couldn't even
Y'all
be
out there.
like that. That wouldn't even be whack
Yeah.
unless no. I just couldn't imagine it because
No.
something about passion. If that was lost, then maybe yeah. But the passion was serious, so it's like that. You can't just get that everywhere.
Okay, so can we play the honest game right now? I just invented it.
Oh, let's go. I like games. I like
Ah,
games.
let's hear it.
who is that one in
Ah!
the
Look,
room?
Jay,
No, we don't need the
I
JB in
name.
the chat.
want to know names.
He's in the chat right now. JB said it was him.
Honesty. Like y'all not being
You can't
honest
call
right
him
now.
out. You can't call dude out
Wait,
because
JB
Well, if
just said
you
it was
brave,
him.
if you brave,
JB
like
in the chat. JB said it's
yeah,
him.
it's
ah!
And mind you, we have never had sex.
However, if you did, he said, I know I'd
It
be
would
the
be
one
him.
calling back,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
That's hilarious. All
So
right.
yeah. So
Well,
now we have another question.
yeah, we did have there was another question that was asked. And the question is about still in relationships, right? It's been 25 years. Should I tell the kids why I really divorced their mom?
Woo!
be honest, please.
That's a hard question because if it's been 25, now what if the kid's been thinking all of this time that you the reason why they got divorced and it was really the mother or the father? So the one that wants to tell, say the kids thought that person was the reason why. So all these years they've been thinking it's their fault, but it really wasn't their fault. Do you redeem yourself and be like, your mother's a damn liar? Or if I was a liar, and
Yeah,
she
yes,
been lying all these years.
right.
That to me says that that clearly there was a scenario created by the mother that they I need this fan. You can't
I'll give
take
it
it.
back. Sure.
Oh, you want some?
Yeah.
No, we don't.
They got over there hot.
I'll help
Trying to
you. You
steal.
help me. While you working, I'll fan it.
Sorry. Anyway, that she must have created a scenario that wasn't true. So that would be a reason why somebody might do that. I can hear it though. Okay. Yeah, I think that would be a reason for somebody to come in and feel the need to tell the story afterwards.
Right. So I feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you haven't redeemed yourself in all of these years, then why now? Especially, and this Jay said in the chat, if the kids are not caring or asking about it, does
Well,
it
let
really?
me tell y'all my story. Okay.
Well,
With my mother and my father. So I didn't grow up with my father, I grew up with my stepfather. And my stepfather was fine. My father, though, I was always praising my father this and my father that. My mother would be like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then my grandmother, well, I'm being all like, saying all these great things about my
Right.
father. My grandmother bust out and said that he wasn't shit anyway. I was like, oh, my mother,
Oh my
don't say
God.
that. Don't say that. She'll learn about who he is through life. Don't say bad things about him. So she was one to always make sure that she had the right things to be said, right? So life goes on or what have you. It wasn't until I was in my 20s that my mother actually started to tell me some of the things that had happened when they were married. And I found out about all of these things that he had done that was negative and
Hmm.
bad, disrespectful, and what have you. But I was old enough that it didn't affect me like it would have had I known that as a child. But it was
Right. That's
good
true.
to know because I needed to know who he was really. Even if he wasn't that person anymore, it mattered
mhm,
to me. It
Okay.
mattered to me.
Yeah.
right. And
So
again, being honest, you prepare your kids for that
Thank you.
information. If you feel like they're ready, like they're ready to receive that information without being effective emotionally, then yeah, share that with them. You know,
yeah.
it's really parents' choice. Some parents, do it differently. Some parents are very down to earth with their kids and they tell them
True.
right out front, up
This
front,
is what happened.
yeah, they don't they don't sugarcoat it. So it's really depends on your parenting style to me.
I agree, and I think it's a need to know thing. Like if my kids was to come, well, my kids already know because I kept it 100 with them. But if they were to come to me and be like, "Why did you and Dad break up?" At the age they
Mhm.
are now, you know what I mean? I can sit down and have an honest conversation with them. They're adults, you
Right.
know, and without bashing their father. You know what I'm saying? I think that you should be able to have that conversation without it being a thing where you're now talking super negatively, even if it was a negative situation. You could choose your words.
I think that's a point. That's a good point.
Mm,
Bashing.
yeah.
When it comes
Yeah.
to bashing, right? If you can
Yes.
speak from a place where you're not being angry and you're telling a story, this is
Right.
what happened, but holding yourself accountable for what you've done as
Right.
well, because no divorce happens with one parent being the
Agreed.
entire adversary in it. So if you're gonna tell it, tell it. Otherwise,
Tell the
don't
truth.
say anything at all,
Right.
right? You got to be like, I did X, Y, and Z as well.
Right.
So
You got
it's
to be accountable because nothing, no, I don't think any marriage ends. I mean, there could have been cheating, there could have been whatever involved in the whole situation. But I
Mhm.
think some things you don't have to put so much attention on that. You know
Right.
what I mean? To make it seem
right.
like
Yeah.
you're just talking so negatively about it. If I'm looking at you like, well, dang, you
Mhm.
just as perfect, huh?
You angry?
You
You
ain't do
angry?
nothing. Yeah, you didn't do nothing.
They be like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Don't
And
want to hear all that.
Right.
right. And you guys know the celebrity Tretch and Peppa. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, they had a toxic
Yes.
relationship to where he, abused her and cheated on her multiple times. And they had a child, and she grew up to be a beautiful young girl.
Yes.
And Peppa wrote a book about all of the things Tretch did to her in that book.
Mm-hmm.
So the young woman the daughter read it and was affected by it,
Right.
even though she was in her 20s. She was just shocked that, the dad would treat her mom that way and do all of those things to her mother.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So she says she kind of lost a little bit of, respect for him a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of messed up too because you find out in a book though, like
Right.
Right.
that should have
How
been a
could you not know
conversation.
that beforehand?
Right.
Right. It should have been nothing that goes in a book. Like we write a book. I want and you tell my business, ooh, you better tell me beforehand.
You better let me
Wait
know.
a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell my story.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, I
Wait, what did
find that
Jerome say? Jerome said you can't speculate on the conversation on what you think the other half felt or was going through in the conversation. Yeah, definitely no. I mean, you can only tell the story from your perspective, of what you felt happened or what was the breakup. But I mean, it doesn't have to come from a negative space, even if it was a negative situation. And that's when it comes to effective communication. And if you're not bitter and angry and mad about the situation, then you can have that convo. After
if
25,
they want to hear it,
if they
and if
want to
you
hear it,
feel it was
after 25
necessary
years,
to end the
you should
relationship,
kind of be
sometimes
in a different space where you can have that conversation if they come to you asking that question.
I agree.
Yes. The truth
At this
will
point,
set you free.
absolutely. At this point, I don't think my kids really care.
Right. They know who their father is anyway, right? They
Exactly.
know who both of you
Yeah.
are to some degree.
Right.
And what was going on between y'all some 25
Yeah.
years ago. You're
Back
not
then,
even the same human being,
at all.
right?
Well, I'm not anyway.
No, and right.
Neither am
And
I.
That was
hopefully,
hopefully
hopefully,
he's not.
right. Hopefully he's grown as well. It's not
Because
just
I don't live in his home, so I couldn't tell you.
yeah. But I know we were talking earlier with the other question, and it was about, when you were saying about the chemistry that you had.
Yes. Whew, child.
Um, we're gonna call him friend.
Hey friend. Hey
Friend
friend. If you
chemistry that
watching,
you
hey
had.
friend.
And,
Yeah.
and in that, we started having this conversation about what really is a basis of a healthy relationship and whether that chemistry is better or worse or equal to compatibility. And so I know you had a lot to say about that. And I wanted you to enlighten because when we had our production meeting and they were like, no, it's one and the same. And you was like, it's
It's
absolutely not.
different.
So let's
I
talk
don't
about
chemistry versus compatibility. I think a healthy relationship you need both.
okay.
I think chemistry is something that I had or have with oh boy who can come back and still get it. But
Friend.
there was no compatibility there. That's just why we're not in a relationship. It was just that chemistry where, to me, I feel like chemistry is energy and a certain type of vibe or a certain type of connection. Compatibility is something different. You have to
It's
add
not
to that.
energy.
Huh?
It's not energy.
No, it is. It is.
Compatibility. You said
Compatibility is that energy. I mean, I think it all plays a part, but chemistry is the initial thing. And I think that's the thing that you're attracted to, that person's energy and that vibe. But that doesn't mean that just because you're attracted to that person's energy means that that's the person that's for you or for you to spend the rest of your life with.
Mhm.
maybe
Because you
it's
can
all
have a,
about reproduction, right? Like
it could be that. I mean, I can meet somebody and I'll be like, yo, they're dope. Like they have a dope vibe. The energy is amazing. But then you get to know them and you realize, okay, well, this is probably not
I
going to
would
work.
never be with that person.
But we can still be like the best of friends, or we can still be mad cool because that thing is still there. But I do think that in order to have a solid relationship, you need both.
Is that why you're not with friend no more? Because the compatibility
Yeah, the
wasn't there.
compatibility. He was for the streets, man.
And situationships that you
Yeah,
involved in.
Extra situation shit.
Yeah.
extra
Yeah.
situations, right? Yeah, I'm not compatible with a dude that's for the streets.
Yeah. I don't like male horror.
Is compatibility something? Is compatibility something that you can create, or is it something that's already there?
I think it's something that you can build,
You can become compatible with
but you
something.
both have to kind of be on that path. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because if I meet somebody and our sexual attraction is there, and it's like we can have amazing sex, but then when it comes to what do you want out of life? Are
Okay.
you looking for a wife? Are you looking for what are you looking for? And if that's not adding up, then something's off. I don't think you
Well,
can make somebody want a wife or a husband.
no, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if I think that thought process makes you compatible as much as it is like the core of what you decide you want out of life and your joys in
Yeah,
life.
Not that alone. I agree. I agree. It's
Right.
more
I
to
don't
it
know
than
if I
just that.
think that marriage is a thing that at all, like whether that makes you compatible or not. I think it's more or less about choices that you make in your life, and those are choices that you decide and that person may have, and you can say, yeah, me too. And I don't know if
Hmm.
that's a to me, just what
That's yeah.
compatibility
That's
is.
part of yeah.
It's like
That's
if I
part of it
get
too.
up and I say, you know, it's about me being a spiritual person. I'm going to get out and these are the things I want to do in my life. I want to travel. I want to, build a business. And that person says, oh, I just want a blue collar job and I just want to squirrel my money away because that's just the way I feel secure in life. To me, those are the things that are going to make us incompatible to some degree. If I don't have, the travel partner, or
Hmm.
somebody who's sociable and can go out and do some things, that may inhibit us from getting on the same plane to some degree. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can see that as well. Compatible, but I was bringing up the whole wife and husband thing because I think to me, men approach women differently when they're looking for a wife as
Mm,
opposed to if they're not,
okay.
because it's a different situation. Because or even a life partner. And we don't even have to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
talking about marriage. It could be
Right.
I'm looking for someone that I want to spend the rest of my life with, and dude could be like, I'm just looking for somebody that I can spend tonight with.
Right,
You
right,
know what I'm
right,
saying? So
right, right,
that is going to determine where we go.
right.
You know what
I
I mean?
agree.
So, and well, Jerome said, "What can compatibility also include sexually?"
If you're compatible sexually, then you can go to the next level.
Yeah,
Which speaks to the chemistry, and that's
I think that's the chemistry. That's the chemistry.
yeah,
Honey.
Because if we
that
if we're
mindset
not
first.
compatible sexually, then I don't know where do we
I
go.
know I'm a lot more mature than I was,
Yeah.
a full adult. So now if I were to meet someone and we were not compatible sexually, I would probably say, like this isn't working or whatever, maybe we could try this. But when I was younger, that was a reason to cut off my beeper.
Right, and I'm
I'm
still,
like, hell
you
no, he
know.
can't call me no more. I used to be like, oh, he tried to call me that. No, that was
Deuces.
Yeah,
whew, no
I'm
He'd be
still on
like,
conversation.
the borderline of that.
Yeah.
I'm ready to cut it off. My Anna Nicole, it all depends. It's either cut off or Anna Nicole because I learned from her.
he said,
I'm gonna
Anna
do it. I'm gonna
Nicole.
do it that way. Rest in peace, Anna Nicole.
That's
'Cause, girl,
hilarious.
you did that. You did that. You did what needed to be done, honey. Okay.
She did what she needed to do. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
And
So,
she
I mean,
probably only had
again, that goes
that
back to the
wife. You never
chemistry.
know. You
It's
never.
true. The chemistry is something, that chemistry. Okay, can you be compatible with somebody that you have no chemistry with? What do y'all think about that?
I think that if,
Yes.
well, let me,
Is
Yes.
that an Anna
But
Nicole situation? Anna
it
Nicole.
would be,
That's
it
an Anna
would
Nicole
be,
situation.
right, only if it was an Anna Nicole situation. But if
yes.
I was trying to like have a life partner, I felt like this, trying to potentially be, I think the chemistry would have to be there initially. And then if life happens and something takes that away, you can continue to have the relationship. But to walk into a relationship knowing that in that area I'm going to be unfulfilled, I don't know if I could sign. Like I
but,
just,
but everything else is great.
no,
We compatible like a mug.
Everything else
that's
except
Everything else is great.
it's always that one exception to
It's
every
the,
rule.
that's like asking me to choose between air and water. I need them both.
you need
I
them
need
both.
them both.
Okay. All right.
I don't see
Well,
it.
I feel
Ask me in another 15 years when maybe I might not want to no more. I don't know.
After
Right
after
now,
menopause, after
that's like
menopause.
asking me
yeah,
which one to choose from.
yeah.
We got to
Well,
break
Okay.
up.
at this
Damn
point in
that.
my life, and I will reveal my seasoned age at 52. Okay, I will be compatible with someone without having chemistry. I can be in that type of relationship.
Okay.
That works for me because I feel like I lost my husband years ago. I met him years ago. I was supposed to
Mm,
marry that man. He was going to treat me great. I was going to have an amazing life. However, I wanted to be out in them streets, you know, acting
that,
like I
chasing that
knew better
chemistry,
than
Chasing that
God.
chemistry.
And I knew better than
chasing
God.
that
Talking about
chemistry,
no,
boy.
you know,
Yeah,
he's
and
not,
I'm with you, Ti. I'm that too. I can be
you know.
compatible and the chemistry. I mean, I would compatibility as long as we can get along and we enjoy each other and the sex is not
He
there.
makes you laugh.
And
He
we right.
knows
But
you. He
wouldn't that
knows
be
how you like
chemistry
your
though? Like we have an
he
amazing
knows how you like your sandwiches with extra mayo. You know,
yeah.
he knows that you like to travel. He's gonna surprise you with a trip. He's gonna do everything except for that. Bang, bang,
So
bang.
are we saying that chemistry
And
is
that's like
strictly
60% of
sex?
most relationships. You
Agreed.
know,
But are we saying that chemistry is
Chemistry is
sex
a
only?
vibe. Chemistry is a vibe. I think it's a vibe. It
I
has
think it is too.
sexual is sexual is definitely a part of it, but chemistry is a thing that when you standing and you talking with that person, you feel already some kind of like connection to them, like
Right.
like you like they smell, and you ain't even really
And it
smell.
ain't just their
Yeah,
pockets.
like
It
it's
ain't
just
just their pockets we connected to.
no, you like I just feel them. You just
mm-hmm.
it's that butterfly feeling.
Yeah.
Hello, Jack.
Sorry, y'all.
Hello,
They
Jack.
they they start with
The Barbie
fireworks out
doll
here.
girl out there.
Wait, come here. Shh, shh,
Well,
shh.
Phil asks, can chemistry be based on looks also? I'm gonna say no.
No.
Because I've never been one to date people for their looks. I've always dated people because of the way that they treat me.
Yes.
And
Well, I
and
can't say that I have not been that. I've been a little more shallow, I have to say.
yeah. Well, okay. Are you
Yeah.
shallow?
I am
It's all
not.
about
I
looks.
am not.
No, now I'm not. I have to say that I have been, and that didn't usually work out
It's
for me
all
too
about
well.
character. Yeah.
That didn't work out for me.
But
Just
some
going for the looks.
right. Somehow, men.
Compatibility is how you match. Chemistry is how you blend. I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Hmm.
Matching and blending.
Matching and blend. I like a little
Hey,
blend, a
cool.
little
So y'all wear the
blending.
same outfits and everything? Is that what's happening? Y'all do
That
everything
I'm
the
going
same, like
shopping.
twins? Is that like twin chemistry? I mean, maybe,
Compatibility,
could
matching.
be.
maybe
I like the thought
twin
process.
twinning.
Oh yeah, I like that too. I like that too.
So, all right, so we can be in relationships where you don't have the physical chemistry. That's what you both agree that you could do that.
I can now.
How could you get there? How you gonna even get there with them? You're just gonna sit down and be like, "That's a great conversationalist." That's so fantastic.
I just, he said, so you've never been attracted to someone before even speaking to them? Yeah, because they look good.
I
That's
don't
Not
know
what
if that's
usually,
always.
chemistry though,
Not always.
I don't even think is that chemistry? Because I see you and you look nice.
because I see women and they look nice, and that doesn't necessarily mean we have chemistry.
Right.
JB said, I'm scared of him. I'm not scared, Jay.
You
So
trying to
wait a minute.
put some on the show?
I see.
What is wrong
I
with him?
told him I'm going to be in his hot tub in October.
Oh, well, maybe that's what did it.
Yeah, maybe that's what happened. I don't know. So, but initial physical attraction is don't y'all think that that's what happens first?
Not all the time.
It does when
Unless you know them already, but when you see someone, you don't know who they are until you actually have a conversation.
I'm gonna give you a fast yes and a slow no because my African proverb. Okay, what glitters is not always gold.
Agreed.
Okay,
Agreed.
and they can be beautiful on the outside. However, their insides are rotten. They're just
Agreed.
mean, nasty, just rude, mean people. So to me,
Agreed.
beauty is on the inside. And my friends laugh at me because I say I love attractive guys. And to me, I like him, like, beastie like, somebody that can handle me.
Like that Donald Goines book, Black Girl Lost.
Right. But to some women, that's like, oh, girl, why are you think that's attractive?
If
Yes,
he's
I
nice,
do. To me, yes.
I've
If
always
he's
been about
kind,
the way I'm being treated rather
yes. And
than
most unattractive guys treat you nice. For the record.
desperation.
No.
Hey
It's in
girl,
the
you back
genes. It's in
again?
the genes.
Something
Wait,
loose?
my dog is over here wilding out because of the
Oh.
fireworks. I'm trying to get him
Oh, we
together.
don't have fireworks here yet.
They're not. No, they just you hear a little bit here and there. So I was hoping that they wouldn't start until after we finished our show. But
So much for that.
see, he's
Well, in
like,
Florida, they got a big show right now on the beach, Florida, Fort Lauderdale Beach. I see you guys out there.
That's not me. I'm in Harlem, so I got street barbecues. Street barbecues and street DJs. So I'm sure we'll be having our fireworks real soon. What are you doing for the fourth show? Oh, she can't even hear us. Poor
I
thing.
have nothing. I
Oh,
can hear you.
oh, okay,
I have nothing planned. Absolutely nothing. I'll be right in here.
okay. Being compatible with yourself.
Be, having maybe having a little chemistry with myself. Maybe having a little chemistry. Maybe.
That's
Well,
hilarious.
I have decided that I no longer want to go out on holidays because of all of the things that's been happening in our world. So, I avoid crowds, and, COVID is real. I had it tested negative every time. However, I know I had COVID. So,
Yeah.
I'm afraid to go to big, places where they have a lot of people nowadays.
Yeah, I'm not big on the whole fourth celebration anyway. Just is what it is. I don't really care about it.
Yeah, it's over. I would like to be someplace like not tomorrow. I'm fine with doing little to nothing tomorrow. But if I were to go out, to me, what would be a fun thing to do is to be able to go somewhere and have an event and then see fireworks behind some safety glass of some sort. I don't necessarily want to be
Hmm.
on the street. Like those are over running in the streets.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, my celebrating the fourth is not. I'm not in the Fourth of July spirit.
Yeah. And at 52, my ears be like, oh, no, honey,
I
no, you
can't
didn't.
take all of that. I really can't. It's just way too much for
Okay,
me.
take that over there, child.
And
I'm
I just moved here, so I don't know how they do things out here. So I don't know what I'm gonna expect
that's
after when
one
it
of
gets
those
dark.
things,
okay.
right?
Right.
Moving,
So I
not
don't know.
really. The
So we just kind
summertime's
of
a
got
whole lot different.
off the whole conversation of chemistry versus compatibility. So are we done with that, Carmel?
I think we were moving on in some way, unless you had something more to add to it.
Well, no, we do have more show left.
I know that's why we were still talking. But now that's what I thought we was doing. Did you have anything to add to that
No,
topic?
I mean I think
That's why I was moving on. Find other things to talk about
I'm having a whole lot of difficulties over here today.
because of the dog.
No, not even because of the dog. I don't know what's happening with my my mouse keeps moving things and whatever. It's just doing what it wants to do.
There are some days when it's like that, right?
I
Yes,
agree.
was me and my technology. That's one of the things about being live on the show is just that you just press on, right? How long we've been doing this, so
You keep moving, right?
it happened
Well, I
anyway.
can add a fun fact. Are teachers compatible with their students? And
Oh,
they be compatible with their students? I say yes, because not every kid is the same, and each kid has a different learning style. So, that teacher has to be able to kind of adapt to that student in order for that student to show gains,
Hmm.
and learn
right.
skills. So, compatibility, I believe, in my opinion, let me just say in my opinion, it's more important than because it's get more value when you're compatible with somebody else opposed to just having chemistry and you guys are just physically hooking up. to do something,
I
some
think
sexual act.
compatibility does take you to old age more so than chemistry. I think that if you're in a relationship, the thing that's going to be the glue that binds that relationship is being compatible. Chemistry is to me necessary, but it is not the tie that binds. Being compatible with someone and have, when you know the same jokes or that person gets you, and you
Yeah.
you don't even really have to, always explain yourself. Because when you are with someone, I think that one of the most frustrating things is trying to explain to that person where you coming from when you say something. Like, you supposed to go, I know what she meant by that. What
Right.
she trying to say is, even though your words are jumbled up, right?
Hmm.
Those are the things that come from being in a relationship with someone you're compatible. Chemistry is that thing that have y'all in the room like, yo, what's up? We out of here.
Right.
Like,
Chemistry have you in the right.
But
Yeah, that's it. You
I
just
think
meet up when it's
we're
time to
only
have sex.
I think we're only looking at it from one pair of glasses. You
Okay,
there are different types of relationships. You can be compatible with your best friend, like my
that's
best
true.
friend and we realize that we cannot travel with everybody
oh,
That's
because
we ain't
true.
lying about
That's
you
that.
are
true.
not compatible with everyone, even though
That
they're
is true.
fun. You laugh with them, you get along when you're hanging out. However, in different environments, can they gel well? Are
That's
they
true. And
compatible?
with other people.
Right. Can you
That's true.
know, work around what you're used to? Because if you're compatible, you're able to shift those gears when things don't go your way.
Right.
Because I feel like a
Agreed.
lot of times, yeah, we get into that 2 year old that just want to throw that temper tantrum like, I want it now, I want it my way. This is the way it should be. However, you need to be more, you got to show a little bit more empathy to other people and be more compatible. I think
And
that's huge.
traveling is the worst thing to me because I've been on a trip with women, and the trip or just ruined because of the other person. So
Right.
when I spend my money, the last thing I want to do is deal with adversity or someone else's decisions that affect my entire trip. Like, if you don't leave
Agreed.
me alone in my happy space and take
Yes.
your miserable XYZ, go ahead with your life. That is a big issue. I can't take that. So, um, go ahead, daddy duties. It's been,
Thanks, Jay.
yeah, just that whole
Right.
But
thing.
yeah, that's absolutely correct though, because we're looking at it from a relationship standpoint of being
Right.
compatible with a partner. But there's so many different ways you could look at it. Can you have, because that person could be cool at home
Mm-hmm.
to hang out, but when it comes to traveling, it's they complaining about everything. They don't want to do nothing. They want to sit here. They want, and then it's
Debbie Downer all the
like,
time.
right, the
Or the
whole
person
time.
who don't, they all they want to do is be in the bed by 8, even though you in another
Right.
country, not supposed to be doing
Right.
stuff, don't
Right.
want to eat, can't eat nothing. It's everything
Right.
is a problem, you
And then
know.
you have your parent child relationship. That's a huge one.
Right. That's another thing.
Some
But is
parents
there
are not
chemistry there though?
compatible with
Because I
it.
think the chemistry is
No,
automatic.
not all the time. Some parents can just push them out and be like, that I don't care.
That's true. That there's no bond.
No bond at all.
Yes,
That
I've seen that happen.
Yes.
I've seen that happen. So I guess there's no chemistry. Just push them out and then
And they're not compatible at all.
yeah,
Even
because
when
it's
they grow up as young adults, the child try to establish that relationship with the parent, but they they don't really have a lot in common. They're
right.
not, compatible in any way. So the relationship is strained.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
That's unfortunate, right? But it happens though.
Hmm.
It definitely happens, but there's circumstances a lot of times surrounding that.
And yeah, then what do you do with that, right? As a child,
As a child.
that's a relationship that should sustain you your whole life. And if you don't have that, um, I can't even imagine it, first of all, because, my mother was a lot of things, but she was never short on love. That was something
Right.
that I
Right.
never ever suffered from, or not knowing that she thought I was the best thing since sliced bread. But there are
Right.
parents there are children that pine for their mother's love, mother's
Yes.
father, mother's love, and
Yeah.
affection.
Mhm.
And
Agreed.
that situation, you would find that it wouldn't be some
Mhm.
compatibility, or and maybe that's the thing that's missing is the chemistry, right?
Right.
Because you
Chemistry
either
is not
vibe
there.
with the person or you
Mhm.
don't.
Right. And I have, that same problem in my life dealing with my older sister. I love her. She's the best thing to me. I mean, she did a very good job in being a big sister. However, we're not compatible at all, you know? And we don't have chemistry either.
Right.
But I love her with all my heart and soul. I will die for her, honestly.
Right.
But we're not compatible and we have no chemistry. She gets on my nerve when I'm around her. And when
You
we
probably
try to
get
be
on
in the
her nerve
same
too.
space,
And you
yeah.
probably don't, yeah, y'all get each other's nerves.
I think it's a good point of view. I'm sure she'll
Right,
tell
right.
she's like, wait a minute, she'll tell you all kind of stuff. She's gonna tell you I'm loud. She'll tell you a lot of things. However, me being on the other end of that, it's a problem that I don't have a real relationship with my sister because I want the same thing I have with
Right.
my best friend with my sister. She
Yeah.
is so amazing. She's great, but why can't we get along?
Yeah.
Girl, I'm around her 10 minutes. I'm like, girl, why you so negative?
Yeah.
Like, I ain't come over here for all that. Okay?
She
Already.
like, well, why are you so whatever the way you been? Yeah.
Like, why you always happy? I'm like,
Yeah.
girl, bye. And I'm ready to leave her house, her beautiful home. She has a beautiful
Right.
home. I got my own room and everything, but I'm not going to slam her door and go in her room.
Right.
Only door
But
you can
I
slam
really
is the
wish.
front one on the way
Okay.
out.
On the way out the door.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Slam it if you want to.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
So for me, I'm seeking both, right? Compatibility and chemistry. And y'all are saying that at the end of the day, as long as you have one, which is compatibility, then the relationship can ensue.
I think you can have the relationship, but I think it takes both to have a solid and healthy relationship. I do. I mean, you can have compatibility with no chemistry, but I think you might be settling.
Right. Because there are relationships that I'm in right now with my colleagues that, we're compatible, but we have no chemistry. I'm like, girl, I want to hang out with you after work
Right.
on our lunch and I'm good.
Right. Right.
There's limits to every relationship because I don't want you to get on my nerves. I know how to um, work around us not being compatible
Right.
or not having that chemistry. Like with my sister and I work well in Florida and her in New York. It's great. We talk all the time.
Exactly. But we don't have to be in each other's
But
space all the
now
time.
I'm in New York. I gotta go see her. I'm kind of like, oh, I gotta go see her, man. She's gonna try to make me sad. In my mind, I don't want to go, but I gotta go.
You
And
gotta
you'll
go
be
see your
happy for the
sisters.
first 7 minutes
Yes.
and be like that 10th minute, like, whoo, let's walk to the store.
It'd be like drive around the corner and drive right back. Just leave the bags in the car. I might just come back out.
Leave the car running.
Yeah, nothing go with her. That's my point.
Come back in 10 minutes.
But when you have that chemistry and that compatibility, you know you're gonna get that person. You know who you're gonna get
That's
walking
true.
through the door. But when
Friendships, yeah,
y'all not
everything. 'Cause
compatible, right? You're like, who am I gonna get today? Is she gonna be okay? Is she gonna be upset?
that's so true because even with people that you've known your whole life and friends you grew up with, we're talking about chemistry and compatibility. We might not I may not have that with all of my friends.
Not any, you know what? There are certain friends I can say that relationship has shifted and we're no longer that. Like
Right.
younger in life, they worked out great and you continue the friendship, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're compatible anymore.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I've changed, that person has changed. You still love them and appreciate them and can hang out every once in a while, but we're just not walking the same road anymore.
Right.
Mhm.
So that can fall away.
That's true. But what is the chemistry still there?
It's hard to say
No,
because you don't have the
for me,
relationship to the same degree, right?
Okay,
yeah,
the chemistry is not
Been
there. You just kind of
together,
have the friendship because you've been friends for so long.
right.
right?
And
Agreed.
again, I'm being honest about the things in my life. Like my god sister. Like we were compatible, and we had chemistry, when we were growing up, but we outgrew each other.
Yeah.
She's in her lane, I'm in my lane. We're doing our own thing.
Yeah.
And we're very close. However, I cannot be around her like I used to be. It's
Right.
not like it used to be. I'm not the same person I was 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
So, we may differ in a lot of ways. So, how do I keep that relationship healthy? I call on the phone. I keep her on the line because we cannot
Right.
be in each other's personal space. Because I'm looking at her like, girl, you still doing that 40?
Right. Yeah. Right.
Girl,
Right.
we not two no more.
Yeah.
Stop being
Right.
a rat. I want to put
Yeah,
on my grown woman. I don't want to put on my
yeah,
little
so the
girl.
chemistry is gone, and so is the compatibility at that point. But when you can grow with your friends and accept them, then you can still be friends.
Sometimes people just want you to continue to be who they see you in their minds at,
Mm-hmm.
and how you show up in the relationship. They don't want that change in you. They want you to continue to be that same person, and that can be a problem when they don't give you the room to continue to grow and they love you anyway.
Right.
So there's that. And I've had that as well, where they just want me to show up the same. And I'm like, girl, I was that 10 years ago. Like
Not
at
that
some
anymore.
point, that's not how I choose to show up in the world.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I still support those friends because I believe in honesty. I'm very big on honesty
Mm-hmm.
and truthful with one another, and I can respect you, if you're honest about who you are. I don't
Yes.
want you putting on your representative. That to me, that's my pet peeve. Meeting a representative. I want to know the true you.
Right.
Unapologetically, I want to know who you are.
Yeah.
Without
Agreed.
without apology. You don't have to apologize for who you are, but show me who you are. Allow me to decide if I want to be around that or not.
Agreed.
Let me
Agreed.
make that decision.
I totally agree with that. The honesty is everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't fake the funk. Be who you are, and
So,
be honest with who you are, and that's just what it is.
yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Well,
Yes, ma'am.
it is time
We've come
to
to
wrap it on up, and it has come to the end of the hour. And as everybody knows, we end every show. First of all, I want to thank our special guest, T.I. Mika, all the way from Brooklyn, in the building.
Brooklyn,
Yes,
we made it, Brooklyn. Woo!
And as we end every show with the Shellism, happily ever after is not a fairy tale, it's a choice.
All right.
So choose your happily ever after, whatever that's going to be.
All right. I
We
love
will
it.
see you guys next week, and Brother Love will be back.
Love you,
Peace
child.
and love. Love you, T.I.
Love you, audience.
I'm Team Ruby's on DJ Big Rock. As we bring down the Cabo Experience 2022, I'm bringing talent, I'm bringing stiletto, I'm bringing Kenny Williams, I'm bringing DJ Warren, DJ Zah, DJ Storm, DJ K-Dog, and Uptown Zone, Jeff Frank. For more info, go to www.13ruby.com and you're drawing, hold up. Go to www.13ruby.com as we bring you all around. 5 days, 4 nights, opening party in the sky, Check Your Day Pool Party, 90s Party featuring Jeff Frank, All White Bon Voyage Comedy Show, special performance by RL. Yes, Big Rod's gonna be on them day, and I'm bringing my cousins with me. Conversation with my cousins